my beautiful creative creatures. Today we are going to be reacting to a coach that teaches on like network marketing, people to get monetization on their Instagram and stuff. And I figured, because I recorded it, I figured we would go through it, talk about it, see what she has to say, get your thoughts and opinions on it, and I greatly appreciate every comment you make. And let's get started.
Space. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Kristen Vance, for those who don't know me, and I am a mom of three. I actually have a 3-month-old, a 17-month-old, and a 6-year-old. So life is crazy. Trying to juggle that and being a social media coach, entrepreneur, all the things. But it's fun. It's beautiful chaos, is what I like to call it. But I have been building and growing on social media for about 6 years now. And it was not some kind of overnight success, you guys. It was very, very slow and steady in the beginning. Lots of crickets, lots of, having to go through the no engagement kind of thing and figure it out. And so just through lots of trial and error, I figured out just kind of some ways and some tips and tricks to growing on social media. For me, it was first over on Facebook. I grew my platform that way. I didn't want to touch Instagram with a 10-foot pole. I was like, I've got Facebook down. I had an Instagram. I kind of just, threw up whatever I put on Facebook over on Instagram and just crossed my fingers and hoped my Instagram would grow as well. And yeah, it doesn't work that way, right? And so, but then I realized, Instagram was kind of it's where it's at. It's where a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners are growing. And I thought, you know what? I hate learning new things. Does anybody feel like that? Like that learning curve? Yes, we all feel like that. And so yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna learn and I'm gonna figure this out. And so I started doing research and finding all these tips and tricks and realizing that, I don't want to say it's easy, right? Like it takes time and consistency, but I realized through just kind of tips and tricks and following people like Maya and other people I really looked up to, I was like, you know what, we can do this, we can grow. And so recently, I will say I focused on my Instagram really more so in the last 2 years and have seen a huge amount of growth, especially since January when I started. I finally narrowed down my niche, right? That's the tough part. I narrowed down my niche. I stayed consistent, provided CTAs, hook, all the things that I knew I was supposed to do. And really, my growth has spiked a lot since this January, so this year. And just kind of thriving in that area. So I do a lot of social media coaching. I do some other businesses on the side, just a lot of I'm just kind of I'm all over the place. You probably feel that, Maya. Doing lots of different things, wearing lots of different hats.
Yes, no, for sure. Like that is like entrepreneurship for sure. It's like being like the marketing and the customer service and the sales and the social media manager. Yeah, just everything all at once.
And to be honest, when I was growing my, social media, I was really trying to grow a particular business. And then I realized like there are so many ways to monetize on social media. We all know that multiple streams of income is great. And so then I realized like, I could monetize off of this and monetize off of that, which is what we're going to get into today. And also figure out like, you don't want to monetize off of everything, right? Because you're going to lose the trust of your audience. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm from West Texas, if you can't tell from the accent. Do we have any Texas peeps on here? You can throw up the little emoji with the cowboy hat. That's very fitting. But that's just a little bit about me.
No, I love that so much. And I love that, I don't know, maybe we can kind of get into this, but I love that you recognize that there was like a shift in where like people's focus was on social media. It wasn't necessarily like solely on Facebook anymore. It was shifting over to Instagram. And like, even though you didn't want to make that shift, you did make that shift. And I think that that's like such a big topic right now because there's so many people, if you're on TikTok at all, everyone on TikTok is like, Instagram is dead, like, and I don't believe that whatsoever, but like, I just think that there are always going to be shifts that happen, and like,
I would disagree that there's less ability to grow on Instagram. It's still very much a big thing, but it's definitely, there's varying ways in which you can monetize. It's not like there's one single way. it just varies on who you're reaching and who you're trying to, like, the audience. But if you're in an MLM, TikToks aren't allowed on there. So if this is someone who is in an MLM, which he probably is, will be, as much as they slip through the cracks on TikTok, they're not allowed on TikTok. That's all I'm saying.
Entrepreneurs, like, you have to be able to learn and evolve and grow. Like, I mean, Instagram is not going to be here for the next, like, probably 50 years, you know? Like, it's going to be around for a while. Like, I would say Instagram as a social media platform is still in its infancy. So I think it's not going to, like, disappear tomorrow by any means. But that being said, you know, there is going to be something that, like, is up and coming, like the next big thing eventually. So it's just important to, like, stay up on that. And, like, this doesn't mean that you have to be on every single social media platform. Definitely not the case. And we can jump into that a little bit more too, because I think that ties back into monetization too. But I love that you brought that up of, like, recognizing that there was a shift and, like, that would have been good for your business. And so you did take that shift. So I love that.
Right.
And for me, my journey started, it was actually, so it started in technically like December of 2019. And I was in college. I was looking for a job that was just going to be flexible, and that's how I came across network marketing. And I started in network marketing, not really thinking that, like, anything was going to happen. I was just like, let's just see. Like, I was like, I didn't really even understand monetization on social media. I saw people doing it. I saw, like, people who were traveling the world and, like, you know, getting these brand collaboration deals and doing all of these things for free and making money. And I was like, that doesn't even, like, make sense to me at all. Yeah. Then I started in network marketing, and that just, like, opened my eyes to so many things. Like, this online space is so cool. There's so many opportunities. And so that's when I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is what I want to do. So I ended up dropping out of college, taking my network marketing business full time. And then, as of, like, May of 2021, I was a smaller account. I was trying to grow on Instagram. Not much was happening. I hadn't niched down. I hadn't done all of these things that I should have done, but I was, like, so convinced that smaller accounts couldn't grow. I just kept seeing people who had 100,000 followers. They would keep growing. And I'm like, oh, of course, like, it's easy for them to say, you know, like, it's easy for them to throw out the tips and tricks because they already have 100,000 followers. They already have 10 followers, you know? And I was only, I think at the time I was at, like, 2,500 followers. And so I'm like, yeah, it's easy for them to say. So I set out on that journey for myself. And along the way, I just kind of...
For her to make light of the fact that she has, like, she started with, like, 2,000... She got to the point of having 2,000 is by no stretch of the means in any way a, like, easy thing to do. Like, I have, on my main private account, I think I have, like, 800 people. So, I mean, that's a lot. It's more than any other account I have, but it's still a lot. And it's very hard to get any followers sometimes, so... Like, I'm just thankful for the ones I have.
Started sharing my journey because I was like, obviously there are other people out there who probably believe the same thing as me, that Instagram growth for small accounts is dead. So I started sharing these tips and tricks, not really ever hoping to, like, land in this spot that I'm in, but that's kind of how I landed where I am, is because I was sharing my journey and I was sharing the ins and outs, and I was like, hey, this is working, hey, this isn't working, and people were like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I'm trying to grow on Instagram too. And so that's kind of how I fell into where I am. But really, like, my monetization journey started with an ebook, which is so crazy because I'm not a writer. I don't even know where that idea even came from. If you, like, thinking back on that, I'm like, I don't even know why I even decided to write an ebook, but I did. And then I started with one-on-one coaching after that, and it kind of just has evolved. And we can talk more about monetization. Actually, this is a great time. What ways do you personally monetize? This is a great way to start this off.
So actually, I was listening to a podcast, and just to give credit to where credit is due, it was Shalene and Brock Johnson. They were doing a podcast, and I was listening to them. And there's so many different ways you can monetize. And I was listening to just kind of some of the ways they threw out, and I didn't realize how many categories I fell into. But I want to preface with this before I say all the different ways I monetize. When you're starting off, I think it's really important to focus on one thing at a time. Like, it's easy to go, oh, I'm going to juggle. I want to do all the things. And listen, I'm there with you. I get it. But start with one, master that, and then add another notch to your belt, so to speak. Because if you try to do too much, I always say it's like, it's better to be A+ at the one than C+ at a bunch. Like, master one way to monetize, and then build the trust of your audience, which I really want to talk about because I think that's important. You can't, I know we're going to jump to myths later, but I think the most common misconception is kind of like you said, Maya, I'm going to grow a bunch of followers. Once I grow a bunch of followers, I'm going to plaster my links and my stories and wherever, and everybody's just going to come flooding to me. And that's couldn't be furthest from the truth.
We wish that was the truth.
Right.
We wish it was that easy.
Right. No, you constantly have to work. For me, so there's a couple ways. You can monetize off your expertise. You can also monetize off of influence. Influence obviously being more where once you do grow that following, you do build that trust, you do have a level of influence. You can say, hey, I love this product, or I love this service, and different companies offer you discounts and things like that you can share with your audience. So you can monetize off of influence. You can monetize off of your expertise. So just like Maya and I, we have been doing years of just research and digging and trying to grow in social media. We have a level of expertise in this department. Now, you don't have to have a degree for it. You don't have to have some kind of certification. You just have to know a little bit more than the person who knows nothing, right? Like, that should be hopeful to you. Just know a little bit more than the person who knows nothing about your topic, and you can share some level of expertise, and you can monetize. So for me, I monetize through online courses. I offer courses, I offer free courses as well, which we'll talk about that in a second.
But the question that I have with most of these online course coaches is, how knowledgeable are you really in this to say that you're able to coach someone? Because I find that questionable, because I wouldn't give out courses on how to do YouTube because I don't know everything about YouTube. I'm not in a monetization area. I'm not in any realm of understanding how brand deals work or anything like that. So I'm not going to give out advice on that because I don't know. So I'm just questioning the validity of what they're going to teach on these courses, because most times they seem very scammy and like just jump in type of thing.
I also have some other side businesses where I promote different products and services that I'm able. So I kind of monetize based off of influence and then also expertise. But again, on Instagram, I really started with the expertise first. Let me build my following, let me educate, let me build that credibility, offer courses. And then once I have that level of trust, then I can showcase some different products and things like that. And people will purchase that way. So those are the main two ways that I monetize off of Instagram. And then of course you get paid for reels, even though we all know that's kind of decreased a little bit as far as they up the ante as far as the views. So if you were making a certain amount at one point, you may have noticed a little bit of decrease in that, but monetize off of just some of the things that Instagram even offers. So that's just a little bit.
No, I love that. Yeah. Two things that I really like that you said. Number one is just starting with one thing. Yeah. Because I think so often we hear like, oh, like I think the quote is something along the lines of like the average millionaire has like 7 income streams or something like that. And I remember hearing that quote and I was like, 7 income streams? I'm like, holy, like I don't even have 1 income stream. Like what, like how do I get to 7? Right. So just focus on one, and then oftentimes you'll realize like where there is a gap, like where you could fill that gap. Like for example, I started out with one-on-one coaching, and then I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many people who want one-on-one coaching. I can't help everyone individually. So then the gap that I needed to fill was, how can I help the rest of the people who I can't help with one-on-one coaching, which is where a course filled in there. Right. So it wasn't something that like I just sat down and I was like, hey, what are the 7 income streams that I can create this month? It was like, it's been almost a year now that I have built over 7 income streams. So just know that it does take time. Like, don't say that like in your head, like don't give yourself a timeline of 1 month to build out those income streams. I mean, it's not impossible, but like it's so much better, like you said, to have really high quality offers, so like those A+ offers versus just like creating as many things as possible and having them all be like subpar offers.
Right.
And then the second thing that I really liked that you said was, oh gosh, let's see if I can remember it now.
I get it. I got mom brain.
Oh God. I was like so confident going in. I was like two things, and I'm like, wait, what was the other thing? Obviously, I liked everything that you said. Well, gosh, what was the other thing? The knowing just one step above the person that you're trying to help. That is also something that's really important too, because I think oftentimes people think that they have to have 10 years of experience, or they have to have a degree, or they have to have worked with XYZ amount of people in order to then monetize, in order to then create their offers. You really only need to know just a little bit more. So if you're in your direct messages and you're getting questions and you're like, oh, this is a no-brainer, but people are asking me these questions, like, you've probably already made it past that level now. So just recognize that I feel like it's really hard for us to be like, oh, I know more than the average person, but you probably do. If you're within like your expertise, you probably do know more than the average person, but you're just thinking about what your knowledge is and not necessarily what other people's knowledge is. So it's kind of hard to like think outside of like, oh, this is not like the norm for people.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's also true?
Yeah, like for instance, I would love to be great at gardening and all the things. I am not. I know nothing about it. I love flowers. I love greenery. I love all the things, but I know nothing about it. So if you knew even a little bit, like you could teach me something, but you may be really into it, comparing yourself to all these other Instagram pages and accounts and platforms and going, oh, I have nothing to offer. Listen, you would have something to offer me because I literally have a black thumb. Like I kill every plant and flower known to man. I can't keep them alive. And so that's just an example of like, but if I came across your page, even if you didn't offer some crazy level of expertise, but you were offering something, and I decided, okay, I want to learn, you would be a page that I would possibly follow. But if you're too busy into the comparison game of I can't compare to this account with 100,000 followers or this account with 50,000 followers, you're going to miss those opportunities. So you really do, whatever your niche is, you just have to know a little bit more than somebody who knows nothing like me. Right? I mean, even when I started in social media coaching, I could compare myself to like, let's say Brock Johnson or different people who I'm like, I can't offer.
But the likelihood for anybody to just be like, oh yeah, you know a little bit more than I do, therefore I will follow you and listen to what you have to say, when in reality, social media accounts, if you have a bigger following, people are more likely to listen because you have a bigger following. That's just how it is. Even if it's not right, it is what it is. So that's usually how it goes. And it sucks because someone who's a smaller account doesn't mean they don't know. It's just they haven't gotten to that point yet of having enough people subscribe to what they do. So it's just a matter of, it usually ends up just being the larger following, more likely they are to follow it. Don't know why, just is.
Not just yet, but I could offer something. People who knew nothing about how to create reels. I know how to create a reel. I know how to add a text. I know how to add a pop-up. Okay, so let me just teach that. And of course, as you dive in, you're going to learn more. You're going to grow more because you're constantly trying to build content and bring value. So you're only going to educate yourself more along the way. So I 100% agree. Flower murderer here too. Listen. It's awful.
I'm the exact same way. Can't keep it alive to save my life. Like even the ones that are like on like auto water, like somehow they still die. I don't even know. So no, I totally get that.
I can't keep a fern alive, so
Okay, so as we're talking about monetization, what would you say is like the best like first place to start? Because I know that you said like offering like free online course. Like would you say that like that's something that you would recommend? Like what is like, if someone came up to you and they said, I don't even know where to start, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I know this is going to sound completely backwards because you're looking to monetize, right? You're like, I want to make money. Let's do this. Offer something free. Like, that's honestly where I recommend starting. That's what I did. Even before I had courses offered, I started with a free course. And the reason being, first off, I mean, there's many reasons, but you do not ever want your audience to feel like the only thing you're in this for is a buck, right? And to make money. Yes, we all want to make money. We know that. But more importantly, they want to know that you're there to educate them and add value to their lives. And there's not a selfish intent behind it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow financially. But if that is your sole purpose and people feel that, it's just going to hurt you. So I actually started a free course. It's a 35-minute thing that people could go through. And I offered a free course on how to discover your niche. Because honestly, if you're wanting to grow on social media, that's where you got to start. So I wanted to start with something free. Here's where they should start. I offered a free Enrich Your Niche course, even though I know it's niche. I'm country, so I say niche. But I offered that because what that's going to do is, let's say you're trying to grow through Reels, right? Maya and I both teach a lot on Reels. And you bring in the viewers. They go to your page. First off, you want to make sure you have a great bio that says exactly what you do, which is a whole nother training for another day. But then when you offer something free and they see that, they're going to click on it. They're going to click on it, especially if they're trying to learn to grow. And that's also going to sync them to maybe an email campaign that you have, so that when you do launch a course, and I signed up for Maya's too a long time ago, I still get your emails. Like you sign up for that free thing, and then you have that person's contact information. So when you do launch those paid courses and other things, you can advertise it that way. But that's how you're going to start to build that email base. Plus, it's also going to be really, I mean, this could go for anything. I mean, if you're a photographer, you could literally offer a free PDF document on, I'm literally going off the cuff here, so this might be totally stupid, but like on different outfits to wear for different photo sessions and offer something, you know. I had a lady contact me the other day who's doing some social media coaching, and she does like eczema, rosacea, and it's like, hey, you could offer a document on tips for eczema and rosacea, something free. It doesn't have to be anything mind-blowing, but I do recommend starting there, because that's going to bring more and more people, which in turn, when you do roll out something that is a paid course, or you know, any kind of business that you're trying to grow, you'll already have that audience that's connected with you. So, and go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was just answering the question in the comment. I did say that free course is still available, the Enrich Your Niche.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say also with that too, like if you're listening and you're like, holy, like I have to create a free like online course, like you don't have to start with a course. For me personally, like my free offers are like PDF checklists. Like you could even, like if you do have an ebook, for example, I have an ebook, you could even just like have one chapter of your ebook be part of that free, like, and you could say like, hey, this is like an exclusive chapter of my ebook, you get this for free. I'm trying to think of other ones. Like you could do like webinars. Webinars are another really good one. That you could just hop on. You could record on Zoom and you could upload that somewhere like on your website, and you could have that tagged in there. There's so many different like free offers.
One thing I question whenever they do the free thing, though, is how likely do you think it is that they're going to want to pay for it later? Because even though you're offering something free, it doesn't mean that they're going to pay someone else later something that they learned from this one thing. Sure, you could have given them the credit to doing this, but it doesn't mean that they're going to stick to what you're advising them on and do it. So that's where I wonder, how accurate is it that they're going to ever come back? Because I never really know how accurate it is that they come back. But that's just me. Hi, Hazel. You found your way up here. You want to come up here? Come up here. Here's my Hazel. Hi, Hazel.
You can lead people into, and like Kristen was saying, the benefit of that is obviously that you're giving them that free value, which is in turn, like, telling them, like, I'm not just in this for the money, but also they get to kind of know, like, your teaching style. They get to know a little bit more about, like, what you're going to offer and the value and the quality of what you're going to offer as well. So it gives them kind of like a sneak peek of, like, oh, like, if this is what her one chapter of her ebook looks like, then I can't even imagine what the rest of the chapters look like. I'm going to go ahead and purchase that. And then the third thing that I would say alongside of that is that you do get them into that email marketing campaign where you're then able to send them even more information about your offers in the future, any sales that you have, or even just your weekly newsletters. Email marketing is one of the best places that you can possibly market for your business in general. So anytime that you can get someone off of social media and onto email marketing, highly recommend doing it, because we don't own Instagram. Yeah. We don't own Facebook. We don't own TikTok. Like, at the end of the day, like, it is just, like, I think I heard someone say this the other day. They said that, like, we basically are renting on this platform. Like, we don't own Instagram, but your email marketing, those subscribers that you have, you can take those off of any email marketing platform. You can download those emails. You can download those names. You own your email marketing, which is so, so, so powerful. And that means you have full control over it. And also, there's no algorithm behind it too, which is really nice and freeing sometimes as a business owner, because your income is not totally just based off of, like, who is seeing your post on social media, because your email marketing should be part of your strategy as well. Right. Anything else that you would add on that?
I was just going to say too, I was going to answer Chris's question, because I do think, you know, when you have a niche similar to Maya and I's, where you're actually educating, it is easy to roll out something free, because as long as you're educating, whether it's a PDF, but, you know, Chris asked a question, what if you're selling t-shirts, right? Your free thing could be a sneak peek into something, right? Like, if they sign up, they get a sneak peek. So maybe you show them, they get to see ahead of time the t-shirts that you're producing, right? If that's what you're showcasing. And so again, you get their email, you get their name, and they may get a 5-minute, 10-minute, I don't know, however long video that you want to show them. That's a sneak peek, and it's almost kind of like, you're my VIPs. You signed up, you're in my email database, so I'm going to showcase something. You always have to be educated.
So basically, it's like having a Patreon or anything like that. I don't have one. I'm obviously not monetized in any area right now, so I don't really know how all of this works. But from what I'm getting, it's kind of like having a Patreon where you have, like, your subscribers, you talk to them or whatever, and then you give them this sneak peek because they pay, but instead it's free. Hazel, what are you doing?
Some of you guys have a niche that's entertainment. Some of you guys have a niche where, you know, you're mainly selling a product, you know, and again, your niche wants to be more than the product, but just to kind of give you a little bit of idea, hopefully that helps answer your question. But give a sneak peek to something, because that'll make them feel like, oh, I got to see something that nobody else has gotten to see yet.
Yeah. I would also add on top of that, you could do a discount too. So you could give, like, 5, 10, 20, 15% off discount codes. You could give free shipping. So, like, even if you already give free shipping in your business, you're planning on doing that, you could say, hey, here's a code that you get for free shipping. The other thing, that if you have, like, an upcoming launch, you could give them, like, exclusive, like, first access to that launch or whatever t-shirts that you're launching. So if you have, like, a fall t-shirt launch coming up, you could say, hey, if you sign up for my email list, then you're going to get access to this for 24 hours before anyone, like the general public, gets access to it as well. So those are just some other ideas for all of that. If you're a mom blogger, I mean, think about, like, I'm just thinking about things that I personally download from bloggers. Like, if someone had, like, a Costco, like, grocery shopping list, like their favorite snacks that they buy at Costco. I mean, it really just depends on, like, what it is that you're sharing, like, as a mom blogger. What are other things, since you are a mom, what would say what that you would download?
Yeah, so, like, right now I've got kids all age ranges, but I'm also back into the newborn stage. I have a 3-month-old, but, you know, if I was a first-time mom, I remember what that's like, having a newborn. Like, you're trying to figure out, like, how do I take care of this newborn? So it could even be like your top 10 products that you recommend when having a newborn, or your top 5 sleep hacks to getting a newborn to sleep. I mean, it can be anything like that. But again, you know, but the only recent
example I have of this is when it comes to, I think it was Aaron Williams. I saw in a video on YouTube of Aaron Williams, I think, doing a talk through basically of like all these products that she's sponsored for basically on a video. I think Radiant Brit talked about it. I have to look for it probably. But the fact is, those things might be recommended, but it doesn't entirely mean that they're achievable or inexpensive or whatever. Because sometimes those people target whoever their subscribers are, knowing that they'd buy it, even though they get something for less. When you could get a lot of things as a new mom for free, or through yard sales, or hand-me-downs and stuff like that. So, like, there's various ways, and sometimes they just like to, like, almost scam you out of money just so you can use their discount code, and they can make commissions to get those products. So it's not always, like, it can be iffy, and you should definitely think about before you buy stuff like that.
One that I come in contact with a lot, everybody wants, and listen, I fell into this category before I really figured out what I wanted to do, but I niched myself as the hot mess mom. We're all hot mess moms. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if you're a mom, we're all just in this together trying to figure it out. So you want to narrow it down even more. Like, who specifically are you helping? And then offer something. Like she said, I love the idea of, here's my grocery list. I'm always looking for easy recipes. Like, share some easy, simple recipes that they can cook. But yeah, so I mean, offering something free can be very simple, but that's going to, again, build the trust of your audience. It's going to get them in that email base so that when you do offer your first paid, course or webinar or whatever it is you're offering, you already have them in your contact list and can roll that out to them. So hopefully that helps give you guys just some ideas just to get the ball rolling. And again, you'll figure it out as you go. I mean, maybe you'll launch something for free, and then, you stick with that for a few months, 6 months, and then you're going to evolve. You're going to come up with even more. But my biggest suggestion is just start. Roll something out. Don't overthink it. Don't wait till you have, listen, my first free course, it's still up there. The very first one that I made, and it's not even really like this long lessons course. It's a 35-minute video where I teach people how to discover their niche. Like, it's nothing. I think it's great, but what I'm saying is, like, it could be even better. Like, I could go back and re-record it and have better lighting and better sound now that I know what I'm doing. But at the same time, it's like, just start and don't overthink it, because you'll get into this habit of overthinking, and you'll never launch it. You'll never post it. So
yeah,
advice is just throw it out there.
I love that. There's a lot of questions about, like, what email marketing platforms we use, and then also, like, what platforms we use for, like, monetization in general. What tools and platforms do you personally use?
Yeah, so I use MailChimp. I know it's super old school. I probably should evolve in that too, but it's worked for me. I use MailChimp for just email campaigns and things that I roll out and getting people in my email database. I use Teachable when it comes to my courses is a great one. If I do any kind of like webinars or things like that, I do a lot through Zoom. I'm very basic, I'm going to be honest, because it works for me. Yeah. What about you, Maya?
Yeah, so I use Flowdesk for my email marketing. I've used it now for 2.5 years. I am team Flowdesk, like, all the way. I love Flowdesk. I love the simplicity of it. But at the end of the day, like, you got to choose whatever works best for you. Like, people who love MailChimp. I know people who love, like, active campaigns. I know people who love, there's so many different email marketing platforms out there. It kind of just depends on, like, what fits your business and, like, also what fits, like, your budget as well. So there's not really a right or wrong way to do it. Again, like Kristen was saying, like, the biggest thing that you can do is just start. Like, don't overthink it and, like, sit for a whole month trying to figure out what email marketing platform to use. Like, just start on one of them. And with email, it's also nice too, because you can download those and move them to a different platform.
Absolutely.
So 6 months from now, if, like, you feel like you've evolved from that platform, you can just move it over. It's not like, it's not hard to move it over, is basically what I'm trying to. As for other platforms that I use Zoom as well. Big Zoom fan. I use Trello for like my, not really, I guess, monetization, but like my organization structure, content planning, everything like that. And then I use Kajabi for my membership and for my course. Trying to think, what payment processor do you use? I feel like that's another big question with monetization.
So mine all goes through. So right now, because what I'm offering is courses, everything goes through Teachable. So that's one of the things I loved through that platform is like they go to Teachable, sign up for the course, and all the payment is done through Teachable as well. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. But I do have like a landing page, which maybe you're not ready for a landing page yet. I mean, you could just literally do you use Milkshake? Some people do Linktree. Mine's the Milkshake, so you can go and you can see all my different links, but the main one is courses. Then you click on the courses, it takes people through Teachable, and then they just pay through there, and then Teachable. It's just an easy, like, I don't have to go through another third party. But there are things like that, because I'm pretty sure you use a different party.
Yeah, so I personally use Stripe. I use PayPal for probably like the first 4 or 5 months of my business. And I just had a bad experience with PayPal, so I've kind of shifted my business away from PayPal. I've heard a lot of other horror stories of people getting like thousands of dollars locked in their PayPal accounts, so just be aware of that. It literally happens for no reason too. Like I wasn't even doing anything. It was just like you can't pay or you can't receive or send money, and I was like, okay, cool. So that can be something that's kind of a stressor as a business owner. Happens to you, so just keep that in mind. I'm not like against PayPal, but I do use Stripe and I love it. I think that those are the only two things that I use for that. And again, it's like it just depends on what, like if you're using Teachable, like I mean, that's amazing. Like there's nothing at the end of the day, it's just whatever works best for you and your business.
If I ever offer, like I've done like a 7 for 7 challenge and different things like that, I pretty much just have gone through PayPal at this point, but I've been experiencing some things myself, so we'll probably be switching over to Stripe.
Okay. Let's do 2 more questions. Let's do the first one being like, how do you decide what is the free value that you offer versus what is the paid value that you offer? So free versus paid. How do you decide that?
So it's free. You're really just wanting to just kind of like, I think you said it earlier, you're wanting, whether it's a one chapter in your ebook to make them go, ooh, I want to read more. You're just giving them enough without giving all of it, right? Like it's kind of like if you're ever on a first date, you don't want to like word vomit your whole life. You just want to give a little bit for them to get to know you, to see if they're interested, and then you can open up the conversation to more. It's kind of the same thing. Like your freebie is something that is going to be, it's going to be informative, but you're not giving away all your tips, tricks, and secrets, because you do want to save that for your courses. Because if you give
question, how likely is it for most of these coaches that most of their tips and tricks are like all the same? For like the self-help guru type coach to these types of coaches, how likely do you think it is that they have basically all the same thing, maybe worded differently, but it's still the same? I would not doubt that it is, because as you've seen, anyone who's been in network marketing still does the copy and paste regardless of what spectrum of leaving it do they go to. They went to something else, but their charisma just stretched longer in a different area, and their ability to lure an audience in is bigger because they coach for themselves, not for their teams. So I find that stuff interesting. I find it questionable whenever they want to give out free stuff, when in reality all these other coaches do free coaching all the time, when in reality they don't charge anything either, unless they go off on their own and then they start selling it for an absorbent amount of money. So then they really reel you in, because if you don't listen to them, then you're never going to get further.
Everything. They have no reason to ever, go to your paid courses and things like that. So it's kind of like just enough. Set the foundation. I mean, I've had a lot of people, they're like, hey, can I do your free course so that I can get a feel for your teaching style, like you said, Maya, your teaching style, to see if I want to do the paid course. So you do want it to be good. Like, you don't want to just throw up, something that's not well put together. You do want to offer something and have little nuggets, but don't give away all of the information, because you want to save that for your webinars, your courses, your things like that. Even Maya, I'm still on your email campaign, and you'll give away little nuggets of, here are 5 different real topics to talk about, or CTAs or hooks. But I know there's so much more, right? Like, you're just kind of giving just enough to say, hey, I'm going to add value and I'm going to help. But if you want more, here's the thing. Here's the course that I offer. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally does. And I heard the other day from Trevor Crump. I follow him on Instagram, and something that he posted about, he said, information for free, implementation for a fee. And I love that so much, because let's just say you give a checklist, for example. I have a checklist that's just like it's an Instagram checklist. And when someone goes through it, it runs them through like the basics. But I've gotten a lot of questions about like, wait, how do I know that like I've actually accomplished this thing in this Instagram checklist? And I'm like, hey, I teach about that in my offer. So it's giving them enough that they're like, oh, okay, like there's still more that I need to learn, and it's really informative, yet it's not like giving them everything so that they don't want to then go to my paid for offer. And it's not to say that every single person, like, I want them to buy my offer. Not the case. Like, it's free, and like I don't really like, it's great if they obviously convert, and that's why you have those freebies. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not forcing people to purchase my offer, which is what's really nice about those freebies, is like, it's not like me sitting there waiting like at my direct messages for you to like finish going through that freebie so that I could then send you a link to my offer. Like, that's not how it is.
Right.
Like, it's just on autopilot within your email marketing. Hopefully it is, because that's gonna make your life really easy. Just have that with an opt-in form. It just has an email that sends them that freebie, and then if they want to stay in communication with you from there, they stay on your email list. If not, there's an unsubscribe button. Not a big deal whatsoever. But like you said, it does give them that sneak peek. So you do want it to be like at least high enough value of an offer that they're like, oh, I want to sign up for that. Because if you're not getting any signups for that freebie, then I would say probably think about the reasoning behind that. Is it because people don't care about that freebie? Is it because you're not offering enough? Is it because it's not even a topic that your followers even care to see? Something that I would do as well with those freebies, just lastly on this topic, would be to do like a A/B testing. So I would create 2 different freebie offers and see which ones perform best. If they both perform good, then keep them up. But like at the end of the day, like that's going to help you also with like anything that you monetize moving forward. Maybe you just create a freebie as you are creating a course, and then you'll realize, hey, people really liked this freebie about this specific topic versus this specific topic didn't perform as well. I probably need to talk more about this in my one-on-one coaching calls, or in my courses, or in whatever it is that you're creating. So it can definitely help you with like not only just like getting people to your email list and giving them something that's free, but it can definitely be a way that you can also get data for moving your business forward as well.
Right. Yeah, and the last 2 things I'll add to that is, once you have your freebie, because, you may start with that, then let's say you produce your paid course, webinar, whatever you're doing, go back to that freebie option, and somewhere in there, whether it's in text or you add another clip, talk about, the paid option, like give little sneak peeks, like, for instance, in my free Enrich Your Niche course, I talk about discovering your niche. But then when I talk about ways to grow with it on Reels, it's like, for more information on this, check out the Not Real Advanced course, right? Sound a little bit like an infomercial there, but you know what I mean? Like, just give them some insight into what else you offer. And you may not have that built. You could say it's coming, or, coming of April, whatever year. But have them gravitate towards that. The other thing I'm going to say is, if you find that your free, whatever your free offer is not bringing in people, or even your the way you're trying to monetize is not bringing in people, you can't just post about it. You can't just provide a link and just assume people are going to come flooding, clicking on that link and paying for whatever it is you're offering. Again, that goes back to the myth of I'm just going to grow a large following. I'm going to post my links and people are just going to buy my courses and buy my products and buy my services. It doesn't happen that way. You have to continue.
But why do you have to continuously basically say that what I didn't work out in network marketing, therefore I'm going to, or even if it did, feel the need to make more money, because in reality that's what you're doing. If you're just honest and saying I need to make more money, maybe be more understanding, but they don't want to. And I had to peel my nail polish off a little bit, because if they did, they'd have to actually admit that their lifestyle is a fake thing. But I just don't get it.
Talk about it. You have to continuously advertise for it, because on average, it takes somebody seeing something 7 times before they decide to buy, purchase, try, whatever it is. So, my freebie that I threw out there, you'll see me posting reels about it maybe once every couple of weeks. I'm going to do another reel that promotes the free Enrich Your Niche course or one of my paid courses. So you want to continuously talk about it. Don't assume just I'm finished with it, boom, there's the link, and people are just going to come flooding in month after month. You have to continuously. That's why it is a myth that people think, oh, you grow your following, you get to sit back, cross your arms. No, you actually have to continuously work month after month to get that out there to people. So continue promoting it, not just one time.
No, I love that. That was the last question. So you're like totally
I mean, that's pretty average that you have to continuously promote regardless for any business you do, because I do photography, so it's not like I can just go about and say, oh, I hope you guys know what my photography is, come ask for my services, and then leave it at that. Like, no, obviously you have to do the work for it. It's not like, granted, do I do a lot of it? No, but it's okay. Do I want to? Sure, I would love to, but it's okay. It's not like a major thing right now. So Hazel, are you gonna stay still? Hey, Banksy, stop. Sorry about that. My cats are currently being weirdos. Say hi, Hazel and Banksy. Sorry about that. I'll have to put them downstairs soon, because they're acting like weirdos.
That on the head, and also like, no, that was like mic drop, like we're done, walk away. No, that was great, and
we play off with each other really well.
Yeah,
Banksy.
Yeah, I love that so much. Like, to repeat what Kristen said, 7 times before someone is going to purchase. So if you feel like you're being repetitive, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And also, like, hopefully on social media too, you're bringing in new viewers all the time. So if you only talk about your offer 1 time a month, like, it's going to take 7 months probably for someone to start purchasing. So you're wondering why your business is not taking off. Like, you have to be willing to talk about your offer more. So, and that's not to say that every single day you should bombard people, purchase my product, purchase my offer, purchase my service. Like, we're not saying that, so please don't let that be the takeaway from this. But at the end of the day, like, share those testimonials. Don't be afraid to talk about your product. And also, the last thing I'll leave with is, if you actually believe in whatever it is that you offer, whether this is an affiliate link for a product that you love, or whether it is your one-on-one coaching calls, or maybe it is simply a brand that you're collaborating with, whatever it is, if you believe in it, you should have no issue talking about it, because you will believe that people will benefit from that once they have purchased it. Right. If you do not believe in what you offer.
Okay, that's so brainwashy, like, to say that you should have no problem if you love something, go after it. Okay. I used to believe, not as much now, maybe in a different way, but not in the way that it's pushed out now, believed that if you go to church and are good to people, you'll get heaven. Okay, that's not true, because I've seen that to be a lot of fakery. So, if I spoke on it, and was scared in the beginning when I was told to believe it and whatever. Did it mean, like, if I was scared to talk about it in the beginning, did that mean I didn't like it? No. I was very much brainwashed into believing it had to be this way or a certain way. So, of course, that's going to, what is it? It's going to sway how I talk about it right away. Because, like, you don't just go out and be like, oh yeah, or I could give, when I start YouTube, looking at a camera did not seem natural. There sometimes after I've taken a week off, this seems still unnatural, but I'm still going to do it. It's still something that I like to do. Still gonna talk on stuff. So regardless of if I like doing it, and it doesn't mean it just goes away. Like, to say you have to love it, therefore if you don't talk about it enough, you don't love it, like, that's not fair.
Then you're gonna have that scarcity mindset of like, I don't want to talk about this because I don't know like how people are going to react to it. Like I don't know if like someone's gonna purchase this and they're not gonna like it. Like if you are truly confident and if you truly believe in whatever it is that you are offering, you're not gonna have an issue talking about it.
Right. Yeah, I always say, you know, whether it's a product or a service, you're not selling the product, you're not selling the service, you're selling a solution, right? Like people don't just need more product just simply to have more product. They're looking for it to fix something or a service to fix something. You know, some of the biggest selling points are, does it save me time? Does it save me money? You know, does it help me in any way? And so just remember that it's not, and I think sometimes it's easy as entrepreneurs and content creators, coaches, whatever, to just think of all the ways we can continuously grow, right? But if you can like set that aside and think, how can I help somebody today? How can I provide a service for them, a solution? You're going to be much more successful than if you're going in this, how can I make money? How can I, you know, even if, you know, you talked a little bit about network marketing, just to speak to that. Obviously, you love your products, you've joined that company, you know, and you're using that company to be a part of your brand, but don't just talk about your products and say that all 50 of your products are the best of the best products you've ever tried. There's great products out there too, besides just your company. Maybe your company has a product you don't like so much. Share that. You know what? I love this not so much, because that's going to build trust. Again, if they feel like everything you're showing them is the best thing ever and I'm so obsessed with this, you're going to lose that trust. So that goes with network marketing. That goes with any business. You know, one of the ladies I follow, she's with network marketing.
But the main thing that most network marketers do anyway is say they love the product. Where do they say they don't love it? Give me a chance, or give me an example of when someone didn't love a product. Does it happen very often? No. They're told constantly to do it. So when someone says, do you really not like it? And they're going to not actually probably admit that they don't like something. And if they do, they're going to be like, oh, well, you don't like the company very much. Why are you in this company if you don't like it? For real?
And she sells some makeup and she's amazing. But one of the main reasons I follow her is because she does different Walmart finds, right? Like she goes to Walmart and just shows the best Walmart find. She's not making a buck from Walmart doing this, right? Like she's offering that for free. That entices me to go to her page, or entices other people to go to her page, and then maybe they will buy some of the products she's selling as well, right? So, I mean, that goes with everything: product, service, course. Offer something for free, because that's only going to help build the trust and hopefully bring in customers for you.
I love that so much. There have been so many good little nuggets, and I hope that you guys build. Before we jump off, how can people connect with you? Obviously, we're on Instagram, but like, where are you at? What are your offers? Like, if people are wanting to work with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so primarily on Instagram, FancyMans89, and offer the free Enrich Your Niche course. I have some Reels courses that I offer. My main one is a basic one, like how do I start, right? There's a lot of advanced courses out there, which is great, and I'm going to be working on, but really like, how do I add a text bubble? How do I do a transition? Just very basic. And I offer that not real advanced course. I also, what I love, my love language is my podcast, which is Building an Eternal Business. And I just share a lot of just business points like this and growing points with you guys. So you can find me over there. It's also on Spotify. I do have Facebook, but like I said, I have kind of shifted more to the Instagram realm because there's a lot of growth happening over here, as we stated kind of in the beginning. So Instagram is not dying. It is not dying. There will always be times of highs and lows, I will say that. But don't just, when it's low, go, oh, I'm throwing in the towel. Things must not be growing here anymore. Shift and work with the shift, work with the movements, work with the changes. You got to be willing to adapt. But those are just a few of the things that I offer. And then, of course, just having fun with reels like Maya and just sharing daily tips and tricks. So
I love that so much. I love that you have a podcast. I'm a big podcast listener, so I will 100% be listening to your podcast now. You can count me as a fan. And as for me, you can follow me on Instagram, Maya Nicole. I'm basically Maya Nicole everywhere. So TikTok, Pinterest, everything. And my direct messages are always open. I love chatting with you in direct messages. I'm sure it's the same for Kristen too. We're always here to help. So if there were questions that didn't get answered on this live, I know there were so many questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of them. I mean, we could literally sit here for 3 hours talking. There were so many great questions, but if there was something that didn't get answered, or if you have any questions about any of our offers.
All right, so that's basically the end of it. I figured we would talk about a network marketing coach because there's a lot of them out there, and see what they have to say. I'm sure I'll find some more. I have another one I want to talk on about who does like a lot of guru type thing in the way of like what was it, like mantras and like motivation and all the other stuff that I want to talk on. So I'm planning on doing that one soon. I hope you liked this video. Please comment down below what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope you like this, and I'm aiming for 700 to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Hoping I can reach it. Trying to get as many videos out as I can for you all, because I know I was off for a week, so I want to make sure I get more videos out. And I'm aiming for also getting at least some videos done for the weekend, so I have videos for the weekend for you. So I will see you guys in the next one, and have a good day. Bye!
So